Welcome to the Inner Self Confidence Podcast. I'm your host, Katie Delamont. Real talk for women who are done overthinking, freezing, or abandoning themselves. If you are ready to feel calm in your body, trust yourself, and speak up without forcing it, you're in the right place. Because confidence isn't something you perform, it's something you build from the inside out. Let's go. Welcome to episode 47 of the Inner Self Confidence Podcast. How she stayed standing when life kept knocking her down. Today's conversation is with Sinéad Quinn, who is a breathwork facilitator, somatic coach, and a spinal energetics practitioner. Sinéad has walked through more adversity than most people experience in a lifetime. Yet instead of being defined by it, she found healing through the simplest of practices: her breath, gentle movement, meditation, and learning how to regulate her nervous system. If you've ever wondered whether healing can really begin with something as simple as your breath, this episode is for you. Let's dive in. All right. Well, welcome to the podcast, Sinéad. Thank you so much for coming on. We just talked for a full hour before we hit record. So can you please tell my audience who you are, what you do, what got you into the healing space, and a little bit of like your background, whatever you want to share.
Okay, hi. And yes, we did speak for a full hour, and we are very lucky, I guess, in parts that we didn't press record. But I'm Sinead, and I am a somatic practitioner and healer. I got into this work, as I think most do, with their own journey, but mine was always a soul pull. Like it was always a soul pull. I remember being 18, so many, many years ago, and I have this memory of being in this dark school gym doing yoga on blankets when, like, we're talking about in the early 90s. I was there with all the old ladies.
Oh my God.
And I didn't even really know what yoga was, but I knew that I had to do it. So, it might have actually no, early 90s, definitely early 90s. And I was like, yeah, I don't even know why I was there, but I just knew I had to try it. And so it was a soul pull. It's just that my soul dipped in and out of a couple of raves in between, I guess, and traveling.
As we do.
As we do. And so yeah, I ended up refinding yoga when I was in advertising, and I was like, I either go on a retreat and meditate or I have a nervous breakdown.
Mm.
And so that was like my first step back into it, and that was pre-kids. And then I having a child with a disability again deepened my practice back into health more than not just spirituality at that point. Like I was always spiritual, closeted. But having a child with Down syndrome made me really deep dive into the health aspect. And from there, it was just onwards and upwards. But officially, it was like 9 years ago that I stepped into breath work, stepped into the somatic space, really like came out of the spiritual closet and started my business. So, what was the other question? What else was I meant to share? I think I shared it all, didn't I?
Yeah, definitely. And so how old is your child who has Down syndrome?
Torrin is 18 now, which
18.
is just like
Wow.
freaking mind blowing. I
Yeah.
don't even know how we got here. I'm like, how did that happen? How are you 18?
Yeah.
And then I have a 16-year-old who was actually born at 28 weeks. So I was also a
Wow.
preemie mum. She was in the NICU for 10 weeks, and then I've got a 14-year-old who we almost lost at 21 weeks.
Wow.
So I've had all the different birth traumas.
Yeah. And I would love to chat about that because obviously a lot of my audience have kids or have been pregnant. And I know people personally who have had, most people don't have the most beautiful birth story.
No.
To be fair, like let's keep it real. And so can you walk us through, let's see if we dive into each three of those and like how you dealt with it at the time. And like, yeah, let's go into the first one, obviously, 18 years ago. And did you find out while you were pregnant?
No. So
Okay.
this is it's interesting, and it's kind of how I ended up becoming a speaker was with my son's diagnosis. So he has Down syndrome. He was a birth diagnosis. Thank God. I will just hand on heart say thank God, because
Yeah.
the medical industry, and it is an industry, really do push for abortion, and we would have missed out on the biggest miracle of our lives had we not had him.
Yeah.
He has opened me up to the best parts of the world, also some of the ugliest
Yeah.
parts of the world. But I always say that having him in our lives, we live a life of technicolor. The rest of the world who don't live in the disability space, they just get beige. But we get the full spectrum of everything. And you know yourself, like, you can only have the highest highs whenever you've had the lowest of lows.
Yeah.
And so he, like, we've not because of him, but because of society, we've experienced some of the lowest of lows, but because of him, we have experienced some of the highest of highs. So, yeah, he's just been the gift. And I actually remember a couple of days after he had been born, and speaking to my best friend at the time, and I was talking to him because the other plot twist is he was actually born in Bangkok. Um, so
Oh, wow.
I
Were you
know.
on holiday or?
No, it was planned that he was going to be, because we fell pregnant in London. We were meant to be like trekking through Tibet, but found out I was pregnant. So instead of like trekking through Tibet, we just like hung out in Thailand for 7 months and had him there. And I was on the phone to my best friend, and I was like, I think this was the universe giving me a different path, because up until this point I had felt so lost. Like, I was like, do I go become a yoga teacher? Like, I just want to be a hippie on a farm with a goat. Like, I don't want to work in advertising anymore. Like, what do I do? And I just remember saying to him one night on the phone, and I was just like, I think this is my path, the change in my path. This is like one of
Mm,
those forks in the road. And it totally was. Like, becoming a
yeah.
parent is in itself a fork in
Yeah.
the road, but then you
Yeah.
throw disability into the mix, and it brings in an entirely different layer of everything. Um, his birth was actually very, very, very beautiful until I hemorrhaged and almost died.
Oh my God. Add that one to the list.
Yeah.
Ooh,
But
okay.
his was actually a beautiful, beautiful birth in a Thai hospital. The midwife hummed when I had to push. It was all by
Yeah.
candlelight.
Yeah.
It was perfect. And then I hemorrhaged. But but that was just some freak thing. But yeah, it was beautiful. And there was a lot of grief,
Mm,
and something that it took the first 8 years of his life to navigate it, because I'm always been
mm,
a glass half full person. I've always seen the silver lining. I've always seen the opportunity. Within a week, I was like, okay, so we're having 3 kids, and now we don't have to worry about a child becoming a crack addict, because he's not going to become a crack addict. Like,
yeah.
and my husband was like, we're having how many kids? Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, he might not be an Olympian, but we've got a way better chance of getting into the Special Olympics. And now we don't have to worry about him being a drug addict. And my husband's head's just like spinning, and I'm like, this is also logical. I've thought it through.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
yeah, like, all good. So we had 3 kids, and but yeah, but there was still the realities of societal pressures,
Mm,
adjustments, blockades around medical systems, discrimination, the fact that no matter where we walk, we are stared at. He is
yeah.
stared at because it's a physical disability. You can see it physically.
Yeah.
Um, so, it was a really huge eye-opening experience for me to understand discrimination for everyone on a different level. I
Mm,
suddenly understood racism at a completely different level, because I saw the way he was treated and realized, actually, that's not just to him. Like, this happens across the board with the sexism, the racism, like any of the isms. So it's been amazing, to
mm,
be able to see the world in such a different light. But there was a lot of grief that had to be processed through it as well, because suddenly you don't realize when you have a child, any child, that the opportunities are taken when the diagnosis is provided. So
Mm,
the opportunity, like you don't realize that you have a child and you have these expectations of them potentially becoming a doctor or a lawyer or a, but the minute that is not on the table, you're like, oh shoot, like this is different. The optimism gets removed. Um, so yeah, but yeah, it's been amazing and it is amazing. So
yeah, wow. And I like thank you for being so honest and sharing that. Like you even said it took you a good 8 years
mm,
to really grapple with the grief. And I think so many people, I mean, grief is such a loaded word and it's subjective to everybody's own personal experience. But I think people think it's just, oh, it only happens when somebody dies, or something gets taken away from you, like, very obvious. And that it goes away quickly and it only happens during something really sad. And
yeah.
it's like this actually you were so happy to be a mom and but there was still grief there.
Yeah, I remember once having a conversation with my mom, and by this stage we were living in the US, and I remember and Torrin had started school, and I was dealing with I can't remember exactly what I was dealing with, but I remember a moment saying, you would be lying if you said that you didn't wish your child didn't have a disability
Yep,
sometimes. Like you
of
would be
course.
lying if you, and I remember saying that specifically to her, like, it's so hard sometimes. Like, I hate this sometimes.
Mm,
And, I just wish I could wish away his Down syndrome. And it was like, I don't now. I can hand on heart say 100% that is healed. But it was only on reflection and when I started doing my deeper layers of healing and that connection to mind, body, and spirit that I saw it for what it was. And that was that it was pure grief. And also victimhood.
yep.
It was it was a real martyred victimhood that it was my life that was being impacted by this. And
Mm,
when I was able to, you know, complete the circle of the trauma and the grief and all of that within that and heal that part of me, it really even opened up another layer of the entire world. Um, so yeah,
y-
it was very interesting.
yeah. So was there a specific healing modality or a time where that kind of shifted, or do you want to walk us through a little bit of it, or like what you were doing at the time? And then how old, and then you had the second, because 18, 16, so 2 years after that.
Yeah. It was
And that was the preemie.
yeah, she was born at 28 weeks. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to kind of talk about like, the grief, but also the stress and like, can you talk about how your body was physically showing symptoms of grief, of trauma, of stress, like, and how that was showing up for you in your life and what you were doing at the time to heal and feel better?
Yeah, during that, so we call that the second chapter of trauma. Which I
Whew.
swore I thought you only had to go through one massive big chapter of trauma in your life until we got dealt with the third chapter. But so
Some people are very lucky.
some people are very lucky and only get one or
Yeah.
none or none. But
Yeah.
we that was an intense time. Now, look, I have to also caveat this with I do now in hindsight recognize that I have an enormous amount of capacity.
Mm.
And I have even more now that I've healed a lot of areas. But so Torrin was born with Down syndrome. Um, we returned to Australia and then we had I fell pregnant with my daughter. My dad got diagnosed with cancer. My daughter was born. My dad died. My mum ended up on life support for 5 months. And just before she ended up on life support, I was actually pregnant with my third.
Holy
Um,
fuck balls.
I know. And in between that, we moved 3 times and we almost went broke.
Whew. Okay,
Yeah.
I need to read your book. And then can we also just mention the thing about your husband? Because this is also, and we,
That's the third chapter.
yeah, okay, let's stay in chapter 2 right now. Okay. Wow, we don't have to go into details about like your parents, but like your dad passes, the preemie, like so when your daughter was born,
Yep.
she was obviously like, yeah, walk us, yeah. And so
Tiny.
you had to travel to the hospital every day.
No, I was in hospital with a toddler at home, and my husband we just had to like max out our credit cards for childcare so he could work. So I had placenta previa, so the placenta is over the cervix, and I just kept hemorrhaging. I kept on having these bleeds at home and from 21 weeks. And they were like, we've got to put you in hospital now. At this one point, I had a third bleed and they were like, you're staying in the hospital now. And I was like, no, I'm not. And they're like, oh yeah, you're not leaving. You're on bed rest and you are like, because with placenta previa, especially if you have constant bleeds. Now, I think things have changed a little bit now, like we're talking about 16 years ago. But at that time, you can bleed out within 8 minutes and die with if the placenta is born before the baby. So and it was that to
This
that
is how
level.
people die at childbirth. Like,
This is how people die at childbirth.
yeah,
And so they couldn't risk that because if I started hemorrhaging, I had to be rushed in, like they had to be
yeah.
on it. And so at that point, and then when I was in the hospital the first 3 weeks, I kept on having like every week I was having more like it was like every time she grew, the stretching, the placenta would move, there would be a bleed. So it just was ongoing. And like I had a catheter. They were at some points not allowing me out of the bed.
Wow.
Yeah,
How
and I
many
think
weeks were you there?
I was there for 6 weeks, I think, seven
Holy
weeks.
shit.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
long time. And was it 6 weeks?
And toddler at home with Down syndrome. Oh my gosh. Okay. And then
Yeah.
your dad dies.
Yeah.
Not, and don't mean to laugh, but like,
No,
okay,
I
your,
know.
your
It was
dad passes
ridiculous.
away, your mom's on life support. So what were your spiritual practices or your wellness practices back then, if you had any?
I
Were you
did, thank
reading
God.
self-help books? Like, what was getting you through it?
Meditation. So
Yeah,
with my daughter, 100% meditation. I was still able to meditate. Yeah. Like
yeah.
I did yoga up until the birth of my first child. Like I was doing
Mm,
yoga the day before he was born. I still had yoga. Thank God. I had the
mm,
reach to meditate. I knew how to breathe. Like I knew
yeah.
how to inhale. I knew how to slow down that breathing. I knew how to be present. And that was everything. That was like,
Mm,
going into her birth. I was just like, because it was like full emergency, like
yeah,
rushing me down because I ended up having a massive hemorrhage. So it was
yeah,
like, she's going to be born in the next hour. Like,
yeah,
and so yeah, it was breathing, just slowing down the breath, being present in the body and meditating.
yeah,
That was what that was the only way I got through all that time in the hospital. It was the only way I got through it, like just and also being the eternal optimist of like everything's gonna be fine. It's
yeah.
just gonna be
And
fine.
if it's
Like,
not like quote unquote fine, it's like that's the way things are meant to be. Like I think well, I mean, this is the way I think that nothing is happening against you or trying to make your life worse. It's happening
yes.
for you. Not that anybody deserves shitty things, but it's not a punishment or it's
Mm,
not also what you mentioned before. It's not that you're the victim and
no.
and somebody else has it better and why me?
And I will admit, I didn't have the mentality of this is happening for me in that
Oh,
moment.
no, definitely not.
No, and I didn't, but in reflection, but and of course I had postnatal depression after my third. I mean, like literally I walked to the doctor and I was like, of course I've got postnatal depression. Like, look at my last 4 years. But I definitely was like, better is coming.
Yeah.
I definitely believe that better is coming. Like
Mm,
like there was
yep.
not every part of me believed that everything was going to be okay. Like there was
Yep.
this part where I was just like, it's all good, it's all good. There's more good is
Mm,
coming, and that the meditation and the yogi traditions and all of those things, like the mind body connection, that was the
mm,
foundation of that. Thank God, and also my mum was amazing, with all of this stuff as well. So it helped
yeah.
significantly. And if I didn't have that, I don't know. I can't imagine if I didn't have that.
I believe it 100%. And this is what I preach it's like literally just the breath. The
Yeah.
breath is everything. And can you, if you want to share about your relationship with your husband at this time as well, because this is intense and a lot of couples would probably depart each other because of the amount of stress and anxiety. And so, do you want to speak on how that relationship was, how it grew stronger? You
Yeah,
know?
look, if I'm honest, like I was reflecting on this, there was a lot of trauma bonding.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I mean,
And we're actually really good in a crisis together because
yeah.
he sounds terrible. He kind of, look, at work, he doesn't do this, but in our relationship, he kind of does. He kind of steps back a little bit and I take control.
Mm,
So, I was a project manager in advertising. I very much, like we'll sort the situation out and he kind of will like step back and like take control of the things in the background. And I'll just like be the person of action. But we're,
mhm,
we're really good together in a crisis. Like we know how to make it work together. And
mm,
so it was really hard, I won't lie. I think he had his coping mechanisms, I had my coping mechanisms. We kind of did it parallel to each other, and then we sort of came back together when things started getting a bit better. I think also sometimes I actually say I think we were both so broken that we didn't know how to leave one another, so we just stayed.
mm.
So
It was
I
like
won't
we
say it
can't
was
add another thing on the list,
yeah,
sort of thing.
like
But
we
it
didn't
is
we didn't
about the
dislike each
repair.
other at the
Yeah.
time. And obviously we were continuing to have sex because we ended up having a third child. But but I don't think it never would have crossed our minds. Like we were just in it. We were just so
Mm,
in it. And we definitely did hit rocky patches in the years afterwards because
yeah.
I healed at a different place, time, and rate to what he did.
Yeah.
Um, but I can say now we're in a great place.
Yeah.
But that took work once he got to a place where he was ready to start like uncovering and unpacking some of it, which I was doing that years before he was.
Mm,
Um, he started catching up, and
yeah.
I started leading by example rather than and it was actually a Tony Robbins event where I learnt that.
Mm,
Because I was like, I was at Unleash the Power Within, and this was about 6 months, no, it was 4 months before we moved to the US, and um, I was like, oh my God, this is gold information. This is gold. And I'm writing everything down, and I'm like, I can't wait to get home to Sasha and like rush into that house and just be like, blah. Literally, the next words out of Tony Robbins' mouth is like, and don't think that you should be going home to your partner and running in that door because they're just going to think that you've drank the Kool-Aid and that you've joined a
mm,
cult. And I was like, crossing out all
yeah.
my. And he's like,
Yeah.
you lead by example, you show. And I was like, okay, noted, new notes.
Yes. Yes. I think this is because as humans, we all grow at different rates.
So differently.
So different. And, whether it's male or female, but one person usually on a different level of healing or healed sort of healing journey. And I do see often the other person who is not wanting to do the work, um, people they they grow apart because of that.
They really
And
do.
and and they judge each other for it. And I think we assume as humans we have to be on that same level all the time in order to be like the perfect partners. But it really truly is leading by example. But what would you say? Because there's plenty of situations where the other person is really just not going to do the work. They don't want to do the work. And then you making that hard decision of, okay, well, like if I want to continue to grow, I have to step away.
I definitely see it with clients a lot. I definitely see it. I think there was a certain point within my own healing where, look, there were moments that I did want my marriage to end, and there were moments where it was conversational. But there was a point in my own healing where I was like, why do I need him to join me? Why do I need
Mhm.
him to meet me where I'm at? Like, why? What
Mm,
is it? What am I holding on to? Is he a good man? Does he love me? Does he adore our children? Then why? And for me in that moment, there was enough of the love and the commitment and, you know, that the good stuff that I had to
Connection.
genuinely go, like, why am I white knuckling his need to heal?
Mm,
Now, we're not talking about abusiveness, alcoholism, or any of those kinds of things. We're talking
yeah.
about like just that thing. And I realized I was basically self-sabotaging.
Mm,
I was holding on to, I was sabotaging our relationship based on what he was not doing, and I
yeah.
was not focusing on what I was not doing.
Yep.
And I was so focused on his lack
Yep.
that I was not looking at my own.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really like, I'm so glad you pointed that out because that the old saying, when you point the finger, you've got three pointing back at you, like clean up your motherfucking side of the street. Like you
Yep,
really think you're that holy that you don't have anything else to heal. And
yep,
what you're really judging is you, and what it really is, and I noticed this, my husband, after he had a stroke, and I was like, he needs to do more yoga. He needs to meditate. He needs to be more spiritual. And like, why can't he meet me there? And blah, blah, blah. And it was just my own judgment of him,
yep,
control.
yep.
And the moment I dropped that judgment towards him, it freed up everything. And we were able to be so much more vulnerable, so much more close. I was the one holding it back,
Yeah.
not
And
him.
and let me guess, he started meeting you halfway.
Oh, like so much more vulnerability, so
Yeah,
much more like healing on his own terms and in his own time and doing it was just it was I saw it in front of my eyes and I'm like,
yeah,
this actually has nothing to do with him. This is all my shit of
yep,
control.
yep. 100%. And so, and it was exactly what happened with us as well. As soon as I released the grip on what he was not doing,
Yeah.
he actually started meeting me halfway and being like, actually asking me like, what is breath work?
Yeah.
What, what, what is it that you're doing? And
Mm-hmm.
showing more interest in like my
Curiosity.
work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I stopped shoving it down his throat.
Yep. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and
So does
he,
your husband do breath work now?
oh God, no.
Do you do it with your kids?
No. Well, that's not true. Actually, with my youngest, he does EFT with me and
Mm-hmm.
they all know how to regulate their breathing,
Mm.
but they don't do active breath work with me. Not yet. They're still a bit nervous for it and I don't
Yeah.
push it.
Yeah.
So, I
Well,
mean,
it's
they all
really
use
just about
essential oil.
optimal breathing,
Yes.
essentially. It's not about doing, the crazy breath work, Wim Hof stuff. It's just being able to know that the inhale, the exhale, like I was breathing the wrong way my whole life. Because I
Oh,
was a smoker. So I was inhaling, sucking in, exhaling, blowing out. Didn't even realize until I lived in an ashram that I was breathing the wrong way.
yeah.
And for those of you out there listening to this who don't know what EFT is, it's emotional freedom technique where
Yes.
you're tapping on meridian points as well as a bit of talk therapy out loud.
Yep.
Great. I love EFT. And I think it's really effective for kids as well.
It's phenomenal. I use it with all my clients. My 16-year-old, she's 16. So
Yeah.
enough
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teenage and a girl. Oh.
Yeah. And she's like, no, no.
Fuck no, mom. You do it, mom, so it's not cool.
It is not cool. Like,
No,
just
no.
stop.
But if
Just
Taylor
stop.
Swift or some shit did it, then it would be.
So cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Olivia
Yeah.
Dean now. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
All
But
right. So that was kind of like chapter two.
yeah.
And then the third baby, and then a vaccine injury.
So that was more in the last, obviously,
Yeah.
COVID years.
Mm-hmm.
That's the third chapter. So we got our lives on track. We moved to America. I went back to school. I became a health coach, and then it started becoming, it navigated through. That was like 10 years ago. And the return to Australia, my husband ended up having a vaccine injury, which ended up being developed epilepsy and having grand mal seizures. Um, and yeah, and then unfortunately moving back to Australia, a doctor very badly navigated his health journey and ended up with a medically induced psychosis.
Oof.
Yeah. So I do not recommend moving internationally during a pandemic with a husband that's unstable.
Mm,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
not good. That
Yeah.
was a lot.
And what that would have essentially done from a nervous system perspective, it just fucking
Exploded it.
it inflates the inflammation, the immunity is gone, shot, and your nervous system is fucked.
It was, and I still see, I work with people's nervous systems. It's like people walk into a room and it's like I have X-ray vision. I can see everything, and I can still see, areas where his nervous isn't optimal.
Yeah.
But it it wrecked his nervous system,
Yeah.
and just caused so much havoc with so many other things. We're very, very, very fortunate that having had a child with a disability,
Mhm.
and having done the amount of brain training and neuro work that I have done with Torrin, I was very well informed of how to support my husband in his healing. And
Yes.
so that, silver linings. I don't know. I actually used to say to our GP, like, what do normal people do in this
Yeah.
situation? Because I fought them nonstop on his brain healing. They wanted to put him on more mood stabilizers. They wanted to do so many things. And I was like, can we just give his brain an effing rest? Like,
Mm,
stop medicating him. Stop trying to give him more stuff. Like, his brain needs to heal now. So back the fuck off, basically.
yeah.
And
You go, you, Mama Bear.
yeah. And he didn't love it the whole way through either, I will admit.
Yeah.
But you know, I just put my foot down, and I saw the ways to, with the information that I have,
Mm.
I'm a somatic practitioner. I yoga nidra, yoga, meditation, literally red light therapy, like all of the things,
Mm-hmm.
like food.
Holistic healing is a real fucking thing. And
Yeah,
it
put
and
your
it
grounding.
actually works.
Yeah,
Or
grounding.
why don't you try all of it and then let's go to the medication. But
Yeah.
just try the
But I was like, the
somatics.
medication caused the brain damage.
Oh,
So why would we put more medication? Like and they were like, he doesn't have brain damage. I'm like, it is literally brain damage. Like this is an acquired brain injury.
yeah.
This is like, you've caused this. Um, that was a little bit of a hot topic, but anyway, we got there, and he's great. He's so good. And he now uses yoga nidra. He does breathe, he does do more optimal breathing, and he does yoga, and he recognizes that, we've got red light through the house. And yeah, thank God. Just thank God.
Yeah.
Is what I can
Yeah.
say. But in the middle of that, my mum died. So
Yeah. Oh,
so
sorry.
yeah, so that's, that was the third chapter, which we're now out
Yeah.
of, well and truly, thank God. So, but
Ooh.
again, for myself, had I not had the tools and the knowledge,
Mm,
um, I can't even imagine what it would have been like navigating that level of
mm,
stress. Um, and I'm just so grateful. I'm so, so, so grateful that I have the knowledge that I have, and I was able to tap into it. Like I would be happy. I had some of the most intense anxious feelings I've ever had in my entire life in that period. And I would be like, okay, logic brain, this is your cortisol spiking. What do we do at this point? Is there a light at the end of the tunnel? There is always a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, tapping into universal energies. Okay, let's just start doing some EFT. What tools can I bring to the table? How do I change this around? And in the middle of it, turning around and going, hey, I've just realized I've never been this low before. How cool is this to see this point from this position? Because when we come out of this, I'll be able to support people out of this for them.
yes.
My eternal optimist.
Well, it's turning your pain into purpose, really
100%.
and truly. And I believe in so much more. Look, I not against professionals who have got the certificates, but real life experience unfortunately doesn't get recognized enough. We don't get paid enough for it because the licensed people who are certified, who read about it in a book and did a test
Yes.
on it, yeah, sure, let me help you through it. But the people who are like, sexual assault survivors, like they probably have a lot more experience than your psychologist who has never had any sexual trauma in their life. And again, nothing against them,
Nothing against talk therapy. I
nothing
love
against
talk
talk
therapy.
therapy, but like if somebody has not gone through what you have gone through or something similar, I'm not saying they're not effective, but maybe not as effective. Maybe that's what I'll just say.
I will say that I think about some of the advice that 30-year-old me would have given people, and I am like, oh dear Lord.
Mm,
I
yeah,
am so sorry. That just get over it. It doesn't really work.
no. So what were your like go-tos? Like obviously you were talking about just breathing optimally, not even like real
Mm,
and like yoga. So moving your body, stretching, deep breaths in, not like I have to go to a 45-minute hot yoga class sort of thing. It was
no.
just like basic, maybe yin or like,
Yeah, I was literally like, I just need to move my body. I need to breathe and not doing active breath work, anything that's soft on the adrenals when you're in
mm-hmm,
that level of high intensity stress. And I have to say, I actually now I work with a couple of rehabs. And so I have private one-on-one clients in one rehab and I work in group situations in another rehab. And some of my clients, they're not in the midst of that level of trauma, but what they are in the
mm-hmm,
midst of is some serious, like one rehab I get mostly men, and they're seriously, like they're at such maximum stress load that
mm-hmm,
they aren't going to be doing breath work. They aren't going to be doing the things that is quite strong on the adrenals. I
mm-hmm,
have them coming back to the real foundational stuff that I also have done of, okay, let's teach you how to do tapping. Let's teach
yeah,
you how to breathe optimally. Let's teach you how to hear your body before it gets to the like the complete anxiety
mm-hmm,
attack
yeah.
levels.
Listen
Let's
to the
teach you
whispers before you get punched.
let's look at the autonomic nervous system and let's see where it sits within your body. Like where are you at? And let's see how we can just like optimize you out of complete and utter danger and the fight or flight. And let's look at how we can gently move you back into a place of safety and into flow.
Mm-hmm,
And that's what I was doing for myself,
yeah.
like and I'm not against medication. There are points where medication is totally needed and
Mm-hmm,
can support people in those spaces. Does it get abused? 100%. And so it's not always the answer, but sometimes people do need to go on low doses of medication under supervision, even though my husband was injured with it. But
yeah.
we treat it with caution.
Yeah.
Um, but the medication will only take you as far because if you're not actually dealing with the body and with the, connecting that mind to the body, we're only dealing with part of the vessel. We
Mm-hmm.
need to incorporate the entire body and the whole body. And then we actually are creating longevity with tools.
Mm-hmm.
When we are just using the medication in our heads and our brains, it's a
Mm-hmm.
band-aid. It's not giving you long-term optimal performance and solutions. It's giving you temporary. So yeah, I do, and that's what I did for myself. Like I just came back to like, okay, the basics. What are the basics? The basics are making sure that I'm fed properly, that I eat at certain times, that I move my body super gently. There's no
Yeah.
going for a 10K run. It's light stretching, it's doing some EFT, it's going for a gentle walk, it's putting my feet in the soil and
Yeah.
allowing the neurons of the earth to flood my body. It's
Mm-hmm.
recognizing that the leaves are green and the sky is blue, and it's thinking about one thing of joy that I can allow into my life today. What is the
Yeah.
one thing that was good today? Okay, let's focus on the birds that we're singing. Let's focus on that we got that doctor's appointment. Let's focus on I woke up and my legs worked when I got out of bed and I was
Mm-hmm.
able to do that for myself. Like let's like get really simple and basic about stuff. And from there building on it and expanding it until you're like, "Hey, today's actually a great day."
Yeah. I'm fucking alive.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can celebrate it. And
Yeah.
it's like, so, not everyone's going into those depths of places, but having been there myself, I can 100% know and
Mm-hmm.
support people out of it. And it makes a difference. It makes such a difference having had that life experience.
It
No more
does.
life experience though, right? Like I'm tapped out, universe. We are
You heard
done.
her. Yeah.
We are done. Chapters closed. No,
Yeah.
no fourth round.
No, we'll end it there. No sequel.
No.
Now, a lot of my clients and probably a lot of people listening to this podcast, they might not have had, let's say, big T, we'll call this, big
Yeah.
traumas or not crazy life situations happen. And they just kind of like burnout could happen, or they're just exhausted. They can't lose the weight. They can't get in shape. They're not motivated. They're not inspired. They don't like their job, but they don't want to quit because the stability and the security, like they're kind of just stuck, but they don't know what to do, where to start. Like, what do you suggest for them? And then I also want to ask, like, what do you see mostly in your clients? But we'll go into what would you suggest for people who may not have the big traumas, but still feel just stuck and just not, good.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of my clients. I'm 49. There's a lot of clients I have that are navigating perimenopause and divorces and, life's big changes or transitions, or they're just like stuck. And that's what I see a lot with women in perimenopause is like, hang on a second. Wait, what is I've just been a servant to everyone. Like, what do I want?
Mm,
Um, the first thing I always start with is just learning how to breathe, like
mm-hmm.
literally just learning how to inhale and exhale and
Yep.
just starting to pay attention to that. That's it. I always say I've got a 100% hit rate in getting people to meditate because people think that meditation, they try it. They go to a yoga studio, they like turn on one of the apps and they sit there for 20 minutes and they're like, well, that sucked. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, because meditation can start in 30-second increments. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just about slowing things down. It's about just becoming present and back to the body. And that is the first place that I start with every single person that walks in the door. I'm like, it is the most boring tool in the
Yeah.
universe.
Yep.
But you start with 4-7-8 breathing
Mm-hmm.
and you build that muscle. That is it. No
Even
box.
4-6, because I find that people can't even get 8 out.
Yes. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
was like, and do not start with the box breathing. Do
And
not even get started on box breathing.
I actually it's never worked for me.
It never works for anyone.
Ever.
That's not true.
Where
Apparently
I'm
it
not,
works in the military.
yeah, I know. I was going to say, apparently the US Navy SEALs use it. I'm like, the
So I have a
box is the
theory on
biggest.
that though.
Please tell me, because I have never found success in the box breath. And so I never teach it. And I'm like,
No,
I hate when people bring it up.
it's the worst. It is the worst. So yes, it's an old pranayamic yogic tool, but
Every
it
breathing practices out there, everybody. Can
just
we also
FYI.
just FYI, everything is yoga and everything dates back to yoga. It's 15,000 years old. Like every nervous system practitioner, every fucking chiro and physio, it's all yoga.
Yeah. Or traditional Chinese medicine. It's one or the
Yeah,
other. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Like it all is. But when it was actually, I even had this conversation with my husband this morning because they had a talker coming in, someone that had like, big cheese guy. And he was like, yeah. And even he was talking about box breathing. I was like, oh my God, don't even get me started.
Oh my God, I've never met anybody else. This is so funny. I hate box breathing.
I hate it. I did a post on it and the amount of it's probably had the most amount of attention to any of my posts on socials. But if you think they always go, but the Australian military use it. And I'm like, yeah, but they're training people to kill people.
Well, yeah, they're trying to up their autonomic nervous system to get into fight or flight.
They're training people. Like, so by the time we're dealing with people who are stuck, who are overloaded, who are in levels of high intense stress, we're trying to get them back into a place of safety. We're not trying to blow them out. So if we look at how the box breathing is being used in the military, it's like it's not teaching them to be calm, it's teaching them to be like psychotic in a way. Like they're killing machines. They're teaching people to fight in wars, right?
Mm,
So why would we use that when we're trying to heal?
yeah, yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
and
So everybody out there, don't use the box breath. That is not just inhale for 4 and exhale for 6. The longer exhale slows your heart rate. And most people think, oh, well, that's if it's too simple, it doesn't work. And this is my
100%.
biggest thing. And it's like, honestly, the more simple it is, the more effective it is.
And
Do you think Michael Jordan became the best basketball player because he did all these fancy things? No, he fucking mastered the foundations. That's why he's the best.
100%. And it's like, I always say to my clients, like, how's the breathing going? And they're like, well, I'm not sticking with it. And I'm like, I know it is the most boring thing that I'm giving you. I know I'm giving you like sparkly, shimmery things over here, but we won't get to those sparkly, shimmery things until you do the boring stuff. Like lift the
Yep.
weights, strengthen the muscle, because you're going to be in that corporate meeting, or you're going to have your toddler over there throwing a tantrum, or you're going to have your teenager like doing something that teenagers do,
Mm,
and you're going to lose your shit. But if you have the breath to anchor you, you can respond instead of react.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
then that's the pivotal moment where things can shift. And it's like they get it eventually, but it's,
Yeah.
it's where I start with everyone, and it's
Yeah.
where I continue with them. And
Yeah.
and honestly, I still use it. Like I use it every day. Every
Same,
day.
same. Humming, singing, stretching, breathing. Honestly, every single day, no days off. And that is what keeps me so healthy.
Yeah.
3 liters of
Boring.
water,
Yeah.
peeing literally 12 hours a day. I'm in the bathroom more than I'm anywhere else, but like 3 liters of water will change your life.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, look, we're obviously soul sisters on this somatic journey. And it sounds like we have probably the same exact coaching program. It's like breathe properly.
Yeah.
And meditation isn't about feeling better, it's about listening, becoming a better listener. And that's not fucking easy or fun.
No.
And you're
And
gonna
it's
listen to what's wrong.
yeah. And it's not all about just finding only joy in life. Like that's the one thing I do have a real issue with in the wellness containers at the moment is we're over regulating. Like it's not
Mm,
about constantly being in a regulated state. It's about being able to navigate the hard things with more ease without blowing the gasket. So it's not about like disassociating from when it's hard. It's about being able to navigate the hard with ease, or more ease rather than with ease, because it's not always easeful. But
and the being perfect and optimal.
yes.
And it's like, well, if I can't do it perfectly and I can't be optimal all the time, then it's not working.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you can have a fucking cheeseburger or go to McDonald's and
2080.
have a glass of wine. Like, it's okay. Like, I did a post on it. Like, nervous system regulation is more about feeling alive,
100%.
which is actually a little dysregulating,
Yeah.
but it's about feeling more alive than it is feeling calm.
Yeah. It's being able to also be present in a situation instead of so dissociated from the occasion that you can't even remember what was going on.
Yeah.
And I think people don't realize that, like, because nervous system regulation is this whole like cool thing at the moment, and everyone wants to be like regulated, and it's like being regulated isn't about about being calm the whole time. It's about being able to navigate everything with flow. And I
Yeah.
think that's, we're always going to, there's always going to be a red zone, and we're not always going to be in the flow zone and all of the things, and we're not always going to be in, sometimes we're going to hit fight and flight. But when we are at our optimal, we're able to come back easier. We're able to like witness that and go, okay, that was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, people don't realize that you go in and out of those states naturally all day, every day.
All day, every
So
day.
when you go to sleep, you're in shutdown, you're disassociated, like you are in a shutdown. When you wake up, you will probably, especially if the alarm goes off, you'll go into fight or flight.
Yeah.
And it's about being able to wake up and go to sleep effectively and efficiently. That's it.
Yeah. But it's cool at the moment now too, and it's trending on socials, and it hits the
Yeah.
algorithm. So, and I mean, don't even get me started on the breathwork bros.
Oh God. I mean, thank you, Wim Hof, for naming a breathwork practice after yourself and then making people hyperventilate.
Yeah.
anyways. Let's talk about spinal energetics. I mean, for people who don't know what it is, I've done one session. Talk about it.
Look, this is a newer tool in my toolbox. I've only had it up my sleeve for about 8 months. It's very interesting. So, I have been doing breath work for since 2018. I've been with my mentor. And that was my primary tool until last year. That with Reiki and energy work and all the things. But and all the other things. But Spinal Energetics came newly to me, and I just felt a real like pull to it. And it's fascinating because it's a completely different field of energy to when I take people through breath work and when I work with them with Reiki. It's really, we're working within, we work with the spine. So people lay down, they're face down, typically speaking. And I I always say I play around with your feet a little bit. I see where the tension patterns are held within the body. And then I use my hands along the spine to see, and I feel where there is tension stuck. And this is where the energy part comes into it, because we are accessing the fields of energy around the body. And it just works. Like I received it and I was like, I need to learn it. And which is exactly what happened with breath work. I did it. I went, I need to learn it. This is for me. My entire body was like, yes, and more, please. And then my first spinal energetics, I was like, yes, and more, please. And even one of the teachers at the thing was like, people don't pick it up as quickly as what you did, because I had a call with him after the training and I was like, it's such a different field of energy. And I do channel a little bit, like I'm not a psychic and I'm by any means, but
I think we all are, though. I think
well,
we
yeah,
all are psychic and
we
we're all
are.
connected, but it's, do you have walls up? And
Yeah,
you're just
yeah,
more open,
yeah.
which makes you more receptive.
But in breath, I will see spirit. Like spirit comes into the room, spirit guides me of what to do with the person, and it's very much a collaboration. Um, Spinal energetics, I tend to see people's memories, which makes sense because we're
Mm.
releasing the old patterns through the spine. And
Mhm.
everyone, all practitioners do it differently and have different experience within it. This is my experience, but it's been super powerful and it's been wonderful. And some of my clients have, now prefer one over the other. And yeah, it just blows my mind a bit. It's really fascinating. Like, the way that they can feel it through the body. I also find people find it far less intimidating than breath work. So they're more open to receive it because it feels more passive. You lay on a bed, right? You don't have
Yeah.
to do anything. You just lay there and you
Yeah.
receive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but it's still super powerful. And I've been really enjoying it. Sarah Jane's an amazing teacher. She's,
Yeah.
got endless
She's in
amounts.
Melbourne, isn't she? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
And
you do
she's
it down
got,
there?
pardon?
Did you do it down in Melbourne?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I went down and yeah, and it was interesting because parts of it go against what I had learnt up until that point, um of the way you use energy, but
Mm.
yeah, it's a wonderful tool and I'm so glad to have that up my sleeve, and people have wonderful like breakthroughs in it,
Yeah.
because sometimes I'm guided to say something through it. I don't know. Like, I'll
Mm.
just be like, I don't know why, but I need to talk to you about your mum.
Mm.
And they'll be like, oh my God, because, and then they just have this like, and a complete opening around it.
Yeah.
So it's great. I mean, I love it.
Yeah. Do you do, obviously in person, do you do it online at all?
I don't do spinal online
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
I just haven't felt the pull for it, but I do
Mhm.
do everything else online.
Yeah.
So breath work, energy work, all of that I do online. But I am starting to feel a pull for spinal online,
Mhm.
because people keep on asking me for it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I did mine online, but I would always prefer an in-person thing. I do
It's
prefer, but I do think it's still powerful online.
it's super powerful online. That's the way I've received the majority of mine, I will say. Um, yeah, it's
Yeah.
still very powerful online.
Yeah.
I just haven't watch this space, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Not right now as we're recording this, the end of June.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think I'll wrap it up there. I would just love for you to explain or maybe define what inner self-confidence is to you. When you hear that word, what does it mean?
Ultimately, love for self. It's about loving and accepting ourselves, our past, all of the crinkly bits, all of the, it doesn't mean that we don't, get Botox. It just means that we truly love and accept ourselves. And I think once we get to that pivotal point, everything can shift. Relationships, work, the whole gauntlet, parenting, partnerships, marriage, everything. It also happens to be one of the hardest lessons, but hey, we're here for a long time.
Yeah. Well, the Tao Te Ching says, or no, Lao Tzu, who wrote the Tao Te Ching, he says, when you accept yourself, the whole world accepts you.
100%.
And can I ask you one last question? Was that the hardest part of your healing journey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's when I had to go, oh,
yeah.
my
It
judgments
wasn't
of
about
others.
the traumatic births. It wasn't about losing your parents. It wasn't about the trauma that we didn't even go into in your childhood that was obviously affecting you. The hardest part of the journey is fully loving, accepting, and what I would say, respecting your body.
100%. Yeah. And being able to give no fucks what other people feel or believe about you. Like,
yeah. It's one thing to say that, it's another thing to actually practice and not take it on.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
not linear either. It ebbs and it flows and it changes. And I think that as well, like understanding that some mornings I might wake up and be a bit hard on myself and then having to come back and like go, oh, that's right. I love myself. Like it's okay. And knowing that just like the love that we feel for others, sometimes the love that we feel for ourselves, it's not linear. There are moments where we're going to wobble on it. There are moments when we're not going to feel like our highest self, but we have that foundation to come back to. And yeah, that would be.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like, oh, I love myself. And then it's just forever and always. And yeah. So thank you for that. And thank you for your time, your wisdom, your expertise. Can you please tell my audience where they can find you and if you have anything going on, any offerings or anything at the moment?
So you can find me mostly on Instagram, Sinéad Quinn Official. Offerings. How about we give your listeners a discount on some breathwork online if they are interested. So I will share a code with you and offering 10% off for any of your listeners if they want to do some breathwork with me.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So is it one-to-one or is it in like a group?
One-to-one. Wait,
yeah.
I can offer one-to-one. I don't really do groups that much anymore at the moment. They've been a bit on hold. It's been more of the deeper work with the one-on-ones, and I can't 100% explain why. It's just how I felt to be called lately. And it's been, yeah.
How long is the session?
Up to 90 minutes.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Well, I'll pop all that in the show notes as well. And we will probably chat again soon.
Yes.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Inner Self Confidence Podcast. If you want to read my wild ride from mindlessness to mindfulness, grab my best-selling memoir, Trust the Flames, either on Amazon or jump on my website, www.katiedelmon.com. You can also jump on my website for any free resources. You can check out media features that I've been in. You can check out if you are in a corporate setting and want some corporate wellness keynotes or yoga, meditation, and or if you want some one-to-one coaching, check out my website, Nervous System Reboot. I've got an online nervous system program in there. There's a whole bunch of things on there, a ton of free resources. And please message me, chat to me. Let's have a conversation if you're listening, if you're wanting to know more. And I'll see you next time.